Someone said, "Go, Bill. We believe in you."
Perfect.
Oh, shoot.
Good job, Bill. Good job, Bill. I'm gonna shut up because we're gonna start streaming. Bye bye. Good luck.
I just do what I got to do right now?
Right. Toggle back to your slides because we see. Right.
How do I talk to people?
Just start talking naturally, the way that you are, freely.
I thought, so nobody's going to ask me questions?
No, you didn't want to do
I
anything.
thought this was a Q&A live stream.
Yeah, they should. We're gonna make a note that don't remember they're capturing your voice right now. But
I know, I'm just confused.
There'll be we'll say something in the chat. People can put their questions in the chat, but
I can't see the chat.
You should be able to.
Okay.
You could see the chat on YouTube for sure.
I found a chat window. Oh, if I switch over to YouTube, but now I'm in this thing here. Oh my god, I'm so confused. Okay, so
you can't
this OBS has a chat thing, but that's not what people are using.
No. It kind of like duplicates what you see on YouTube. It's best that you.
So I got to switch to YouTube.
Check. Yeah, it's best. It's best that you have it like kind of a window on the set open.
Right, off screen, so it's not showing.
In an opposite screen. I only have one laptop.
I think you can make like a bigger screen to show yourself,
Okay.
Right, you can make yourself a little bigger.
Oh, is this the chat right here? Hello from Germany. Is this my chat?
Yeah, they're saying hi to you.
Oh, it's too bad it doesn't come into this other thing. All right. As everybody can see, I have aged out of YouTube technology. I don't know what I'm doing here. There's some software here called OBS that's supposed to set up all this live stuff. And unfortunately, I can't see anyone and I can't hear anyone, but I see chat windows. So that's pretty good. Oh, there's actually quite a few of you. I'm aging out here. Look at this, 42 people live. Look, ladies, I'm live on the internet. Look, my marketing team is getting very angry at me right now, but that's okay. They're far away from me. They can't hurt me. Okay, well, actually, that's not true. Look at these. They're panicking, everyone. All right, I guess everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me? I'm usually in front of a camera with live people looking at me, and then I have that feedback. This is like staring at a blank wall and just talking. So this is very complicated. Okay, I guess I'm gonna hang up this Google thing with you guys, and you can sit and panic on your own.
If anything, ping us.
How much time am I supposed to be here for? An hour?
Yeah, about an hour.
Yeah,
okay.
1 hour.
All right.
Make it bigger.
All right. Make yourself a little bigger.
They want me to make myself bigger here. Hold on here. I finally figured out how to make a window bigger. Is that good?
Yes, take the corner of the window.
You don't want it in the corner there?
No, yeah, that in the corner is fine. She was just telling you how to make it bigger.
I got it. Okay. I made it bigger, but there's like a big delay between this and... See? I did that like 30 seconds ago. See, right now I'm waving. I'm saying hello. Maybe because I only have 10 meg up. Maybe that's what it is.
It might be you have a little lag.
All right. I will try to deal with the lag.
Okay, good luck, bro.
Right. This is like insane, this lag, and I like Zoom. We should have just done this on Zoom. Then I could have turned microphones on and everybody could have talked to me here. So, okay, my marketing department wanted me to do this because I'm going to be teaching this class we're going to move it to May, and which is good because it gives me another month to learn myself. But they wanted me to be here, so those of you who wanted to ask some questions, I guess about anything. Oh, 30. Yeah, it is a 30-second delay. I mean, that is totally true. Anyway, so next time I'm not going to use this OBS stuff. I think we're just going to zoom it and then we can put it out there. Because this delay is crazy. I'm even watching myself on. You can see my screen. Oh, now they're probably panicking. Hold on. I'm supposed to do this. Hold on here. I am so bad. Look, I got an actual slide up now, but now I can't see the chat, so that's not good either. Where did my chat go? All right. Unfortunately, if I put the slide deck up, I can't see all of you talking to me, so I don't know what to do with that. Maybe I'll just make myself bigger here, and we'll forego all the other stuff. What about that? That's pretty good. Look right there. Look at that. I don't know what that's supposed to look like, but I just made myself bigger. Is everybody having fun yet? Because like I said, I'm aging out, I think. All right, so yeah, we should use my phone, right? We should just all switch to a. Dude, I don't have a second monitor. I have spent 5 years on the road, and I had to learn how to just work with my laptop screen. And I don't really want a second monitor now in the house because I don't want to get used to it. I'm kind of got very good at working with one screen, so that's what it is. But I bet you money you need like multiple screens for this to work properly. And probably that's why I'm bumming here. So there we are. So if I switch to anything else, I don't know what happens. I'm going to see what happens there. Anyway, we're now 7 minutes. Yes, use your phone for YouTube. Oh, I could use my phone. You know what it is? Okay, let me try that. If I log in, oh, that's a great idea. Let me see if I can make that work here. YouTube, why didn't you guys tell me that earlier? Hold on. Let's see. I got to log in with a special account though. Hold on. YouTube, sign in. I really want to do this on add account, continue. Let me see here. I have LastPass, so that should help me. Let me see here. All right. Oh, I could just join in as a live. Oh yeah, of course. Now I need to find the link for this thing though. All right, how can I find the link for this thing on my phone? You guys have no idea, right? Like, I don't know how any of this stuff works here. I guess I would go to, how did you guys get the links for this? Let me go on Slack. Let me get a link for this thing. Hold on. Maybe marketing has a link for it. Let's see here. I'm going to ask them for the link. I need a link to the YouTube live. There we go. I hope everybody's having fun watching me completely be okay. I saw some good questions here, so I'm going to talk about that while I try to get a link here. Oh, I think they just sent me a link. Oh, okay. I got the chat here now. That's good. Cool. Can't sign into chat, but that's good. That means that I can now do this, right? Let's see. I can now do this. Cool. And then I can make my window a little smaller, right? Oh, wow. Look, we're playing with power now. Okay. Now that I can look at my phone and see some questions here. First of all, thanks everybody coming out and watching me struggle with YouTube and OBS. That's kind of fun. There's a big delay here, so if you ask a question, it's probably going to be 30 plus seconds before I can get to it. I am scrolling through all of the messages. Okay, so somebody asked, any advice on event-driven architecture in Go? That's a pretty interesting question. And then, Bill, I'm curious about your perspective on implementing gRPC. Let's start with event-driven architectures. I am really bad at maintaining mental models with anything that's event-driven. I try to avoid that like the plague. Now, that being said, I'm on a project right now where this class is perfect because we need to talk about some of the stuff in this class, because even though I'm going to be teaching these ideas around keeping domains separate in your architecture, and we'll talk about this idea of what a domain is and how important it is to separate them. There are times where you need domain to domain communication, and that can really only be done with events. So in the service class now, I have a very simple, really synchronous oriented sort of event system that allows domain to domain communication. What I stress to the teams that I'm working with when it comes time to finally need to add events is that we really make sure that we need the event. We make the events as specific as possible. We try not to make them generalized. So if something's happening because some record got terminated, we're going to have a very specific event for that. And I think that will help you maintain mental models once you get into having to deal with events. Don't generalize the events. Really make them targeted, really make them specific. So hopefully that answers some of that, but that's definitely a conversation we'll end up having in the class for sure. Bill, I'm curious about your perspective on implementing gRPC. I'm going to tell you, I get all the benefits for gRPC. I get that if you're in a polyglot environment where services have to talk to each other, then there's value in that. If you have versioning of an API, there's value in it. But I'm working on a code base right now that has gRPC, and I don't care what anybody says, it's complicated. It adds a layer of complexity to the entire project. So I honestly try to avoid using gRPC until I absolutely can't. And then I deal with what I think is some of the pain in, right? There's a proto file you got to maintain. You got to have code gen involved in that. And you got to code all that stuff. And then how do you deal with the fact that somebody else wants to talk to you? I don't believe in sharing these things. I think everybody should have their own sort of version of there's so much there. You need an entire class for gRPC, and I'm not really teaching it, so I try to stay away from it until I can't stay away from it, in all honesty. If you log in, you're streaming it. Oh, I did the phone thing already. Okay, cool. So those are two technical questions that we got. I think they were really good ones. I'm going to tell you, this class that I'm here to talk to you about, I love this class. And what I love about the class is that I'm actively writing code using that code base. And so every week I learn something new, something that's maybe missing, something that maybe we need to change, or something that we can enhance. And so even though we just released 4.0, which was a class that I think I taught back in December, I'm going to be, once we're done teaching this class, I'm going to put it up on the video. This is going to be like 4.1. And I've already learned so much in the last 4 months that even this is going to be the best class yet. I really love this material. So if you're struggling writing services in general, if you're struggling with keeping a mental model, if you're struggling with being able to maintain that code over time, if you're struggling with not wanting to hack, if you're struggling with all of those things, I think this class is really good for you, because I think about all those things every day. I've got teams of people thinking about it. We have these debates all day, and all of that good stuff gets back into this service repo, this starter kit of code that I use for every project. All right, I got some more questions here. Not specific, but I want to know about your opinions about the arguments between. I don't have any intimate knowledge between the arguments between Uncle Bob and Casey. A lot of what Uncle Bob teaches is actually incorporated in this service class. Not to a sense where it was stolen, but kind of naturally over 30 years, I think coming to a lot of the same conclusions that Uncle Bob has come to, and a lot of that has to do with this idea of domains. It's identify those domains, keep firewalls between those domains. You can do that in the small, like we're doing in service. You could do that in the large at a microservice level. But once you take this class, you'll see how I really implement the core business packages like they're microservices. You could literally build a microservice around each individual core business package, and none of the code would break. Like, that's so important. It's one of the things I'll be teaching. So I don't know the specific back and forth, but I would probably say to you that I lean more from what I've read, and what I've also been told on the Bob side of things. I really do believe in this idea of that domain separation of the domain. It's the key is how do you do that in Go, and that's what this class is going to teach. It's what I've really been studying over the last 3 or 4 years. What alternative gRPC and avoid JSON? Lewis, man, an HTTP-based web API is simple and it could work. It's always worked for me. Like, I've never had a situation where I felt like I got a performance problem or something's not like working or feeling right. I mean, and exposing a web API is simple for everyone to consume. So if we're talking about anything that has to be consumed almost as a user, I mean, for sure, I really don't want to use gRPC. If we're talking about back-end service-to-service communication, and you've measured there's a performance problem, right now just using straight HTTP with even compressed JSON, I mean, okay, you've proven it, you've measured it, you've said it's not fast enough, it's not handling the traffic. Now I think gRPC is definitely something it's worth prototyping. But what I stress all the time in the class is we constantly, as an industry and as individuals, pre-optimize everything. We have some assumption that that's not going to be fast enough. I mean, if you've got experience already and you know it's not going to be fast enough, fair. But if you're not sure it's going to be fast enough, why add complexity? See, I'm always saying don't add complexity until you need it. Even if you kind of know it's coming, sometimes I'm like, yeah, but that's a year away. Why add the complexity now? And I think as you all get older and more experienced and have to maintain a lot of the code you're writing, you'll naturally fall into this same sort of mindset of let's not add complexity until we need it. Now, I've met people that say gRPC is not complex. That's great. I mean, that's awesome. For me, it's extra work, extra tooling, extra everything, and that's where the complexity is added. I'm looking to learn how to create a simple monolithic CRUD app, something like a to-do and go. This is what this class is for you. This is, for me, I love the idea of a monolith. I love the idea of a single repo with a project where you're managing and building multiple services in there, multiple tooling in there. Everything related to that product or that platform is in that one place. That is my favorite thing from a management perspective, from a philosophy, from guidelines, keeping everybody on the same page. It's huge. I highly recommend doing that at a team level, at least. Different teams building different things can have their own sort of monolith. But I'm all about, again, keeping it simple, keeping the processes simple as well. So this class will teach you exactly how to do that using this starter kit. Let me see here. Cool. These people are asking about gRPC already pre-coded. I'm a junior. Is it suitable for me? Anything that you're interested in and want to learn is suitable for you. Again, this is a technology choice. It's a tool. So we should always be picking the best tool for the job. And there are times where gRPC is the right tool. It is the best tool for the job. In the 30-something years that I've been writing code, I haven't needed to use it, not once. I just landed on a project where it's being used. I'm highly questioning why we're using it. And there is a very good chance I'm going to rip it out. A very good chance. I don't know yet. I'm still learning. But there's a very good chance that I'm going to rip it out because, again, the complexity for me is it's a little too much. Love that Casey. Okay, let's see here. How does the 3.0 class compare to the 4.0? I've learned so much since I recorded 3.0. And when I put a new class up, I tend to only leave the old one up for 30 days because the new class is always so much better. This is the best service class yet. And 6 months from now, I'm going to learn more, and I'm going to continue to improve it, continue to refactor. I always like to think that I'm done, and then I learn something. A new constraint hits me. A new problem sort of hits me. Now, I've tried to keep service at an MVP level, but just yesterday, I added the event system into it. A simple event system. And so I can teach that now and show you how do you handle communication between domains in a simple way. So I think it's a much better class. It's a more complete class. I get to talk about more. I get to talk about more Kubernetes. I get to talk about more Go. In fact, 4.0 is so much better than 3. I had to add an extra hour each day to the class. So instead of 4 hours a day, I need 5 hours a day for 5 days. Yeah, I need the extra time because there's just so much more to talk about and to teach. I haven't played with Message Pack, but if I remember what Message Pack is and remind me in some note, is that like some form of compressed sort of JSON that you can do over HTTP or something like that? I'm okay with anything that you feel is adding value to the products that you're building without adding unnecessary complexity. So I'm just going to continue to stress that, right? We're going to do this. It's adding more complexity. Is it necessary? Is it adding value? Do we need to maintain that? Can somebody else maintain this complexity when I'm gone? That's the other big one, right? Like maybe you're smart enough to handle that complexity, but is the next person going to be able to? Because if they can't, they're throwing it all away and they're starting over, and that's not what I want. Bill, what is your opinion about relational databases in Go? Do you use plain SQL? Do you migrations? So this service class talks about all of that. Regardless if I was using SQL or NoSQL or even GraphQL, I always like to hand code the queries and hand code them in the Go code. I don't like any database abstraction layers that kind of do that with types. I do use SQLX to help with the SQL injection and to help with executing those queries. I love SQLX, and I have SQLX working with both the PQ driver and with the PGX driver. So you have support for both drivers in the service class. In production systems, I use the PQ driver. I feel I've done a little measuring. It's slightly more performant. Slightly. I don't think enough to matter, but slightly more performant as a driver. PGX has a higher level set of APIs. It's very similar to SQLX. But I think SQLX is simple. I've built some nice sort of convenience functions around it. And that's what we're using. So I prefer the SQL code. It helps you fix bugs. It helps you to isolate bugs from one query to the other. I love SQLX. You can use either driver that I have. And though it's tedious in the beginning, remember, you write code once, you read it 1,000 times. So it's better to go through a little bit of pain writing if it's going to make the reading and the bug fixing and the mental models better. So this idea always, make things easy to understand, not easy to do. I cannot stress that enough. And I think your question there falls into the idea of don't use ORMs. They're easy to, but they're not easy to read. You want to make things easy to read, go with the straight SQL, go with the SQLX, go with those drivers. And I'm going to teach you all that in that ultimate service class. What do you think about integrating a small bit of Rust into the Go ecosystem? Where does it make sense? I'm a big fan of Rust. I started actually coding a little bit of it. I think it's a complement to Go. Now, the programming language is different. The ideas are different. The priorities of the language designers were different. So it's not a language that I feel like I'm in tune with what little I wrote. And I even have a blog post sort of sharing some of that. I don't think that if I was told to write Rust full time for the next year, I wouldn't be terribly sad. But, there's for me, a learning curve on guidelines, philosophies, and idioms. So the way I kind of see it right now is if you're building something where you have to eliminate latency, you can't just hide work inside of latency like we do in Go, right? Concurrency, if this Go routine is going to block, then we do something else with another. The network you're always waiting on a network, right? So there's always room to kind of leverage that wait time with concurrency. But if that isn't going to help you solve your problems, then Rust, because it doesn't have any sort of inherent latency with garbage collection and things like that, there it is. So I kind of look at it that way. If we can hide inside latency in a sense, right, make the latency work for us, Go's are brilliant. If you just have to eliminate it, just eliminate it, then I think you have to look at Rust, because Rust has that sort of trade-off. Now you might be, give me a scenario, Bill. Give me an application where you have to really eliminate it. I would argue a browser. If I was building a browser and I want the rendering to be super, super fast, right? I want to eliminate latency. I can't really say try to hide into it. Anything that's sitting on the network, waiting for something on the network, listening on the network, I think Go is a home run there. I think when you get beyond that, Rust is probably where you want to be. And I've met people who just switch to Rust and absolutely love it. And I don't hesitate. In fact, at GopherCon this year, we're going to have a Rust class, by the way. There's going to be a class where if you want to learn Rust and see what it's at, you can actually do it at GopherCon this year. So I highly recommend that you, if you're interested, to take an opportunity at GopherCon, believe it or not, to learn some Rust. Hey, Bill, what do you have to do when you push system? I don't want to pull or make a request every time. I want updates to update my database. This one's a bigger sort of question, so send me an email on that question. There's no way I can answer that one at all right now. So the IE-CQRS pattern seems to appear, and that pattern is always going to appear once you start really needing to separate domains like we do in Go service. So we'll talk about that, and I'll show you the simple little event system that we built, and I'll even talk to you about a scenario where if you want to do it right, you got to implement a CQRS sort of pattern, but there's ways of cheating if you're okay with it. So we'll talk about that in the Go service class, believe it or not. The training really isn't for beginners in the sense that you've never written code before or you've never tried to write a service before. I think people that have been writing Go for 6 months to a year and have felt some of the pain and have felt some of the mistakes they made will get the most out of the class. Now, if you're new and you've programmed in some other languages and you really want to start writing services, I think there's going to be value in this class. So as a beginner, I would say to you, take it. And I've told this to people for 10 years. If you're unsure, take the class. If it's not working for you, I will give you your money back. I have always given people back their money if the class isn't what their expectation is, if they didn't get value out of it, it just wasn't the right class. So if you're worried because you think you're a beginner, take the class. If you're a day in and you're like, Bill, this is too much, go. If you think you're too advanced for the class, you're not sure, take it. If after a day or two or after the entire week you're like, Bill, I got nothing out of this class, I will give you back your money. This isn't about money. It's about you getting the education that you want, that you expect, and that you need. So no one has to worry about not getting their money back if the class isn't what they needed it to be for them. Let's see here. How important is it for Go developers to learn about Kubernetes? So this class, I think, teaches the right amount of Kubernetes you need to be a developer. I live on the edge of what a developer needs to know compared to what the ops people need to know. And there's a handoff there with the Kubernetes that has to be defined. And I try to define that in this class. So I teach Kubernetes from a developer perspective. I don't teach it from an administration. We have other classes here at Arden for that. But you need to always know enough about your production environment to make sure that you're designing and architecting properly for that. And you should be practicing at some level with your dev environment, right? Into a staging or into a playground, so you can understand how this stuff is deployed, at least in the simplest way. And we do that in this class. So you'll see that. I already bought the Ultimate Go bundle at Arden Labs. How to best answer questions regarding videos. You can always just send me an email. People do it all the time. So if you're watching the video, whether it's a free one or a paid one, and you're stuck and you have a question, you send me an email, bill@ardenlabs.com. I'm pretty good at getting back to everybody within 24 hours. Don't ever hesitate. Don't apologize. Don't say you're sorry. Just say, Bill, I was watching this, I was reading that, and I have a question, and I will answer it. Would your course be helpful for someone with a beginner understanding of Golang? I would say take the class and find out for yourself. If it's not, I'll give you back your money. And you have nothing to stress out about over that. Hey, Bill, why did you decide to change the project structure between Ultimate Go and the web service course? I learned so much from the time that I first taught this class to where we are today. I switched command to app because that's the word I kept using. I switched internal to business because that's the word I kept using. And I think if you want to maintain a good mental model of your code bases, you need to listen to the words you're using and adapt that into the code. So if you have to explain, I had to explain the word internal every single time to every single person. And every time I explained internal, I used the word business. So guess what? It's not worth keeping internal if I have to constantly explain what it is. I don't like CMD because that feels more like a CLI sort of tooling. I like the idea of an app because there's an application layer. And then you have your foundation layer, and then you have Zarf. So I talk in the class about why I'm naming things the way I am, the importance of naming. But this is a starter kit. The whole point of this project is for you not to be locked in. You can rip it apart, put it back together, name things the way you want, use routers the way you want, do anything you want. But I think it's a good, strong base that if you learn the design philosophies and the guidelines and the idioms of this base of code, you're starting in the right direction. You're starting on the right foot, and then you can make it your own as you learn more. Basically, I'm doing your Ultimate 4 class. I'm scrambling, getting the telepresence working. I would love to get some support from you. So you absolutely send me an email. Telepresence is difficult if you're not on the Mac or Linux. So if you're on Windows, yeah, it's very difficult. Because of that, I do still expose the ports. And if you look in the make file, there are commands for both using telepresence and then opening a local host, essentially. So you don't have to slow down. I needed to do that in the class because there's always one or two people where telepresence isn't working, and we've got to be able to keep moving. So you've got that option too to do that. Slack isn't the best way to reach out to me. Email is. I live my life in email. So bill@audinlabs.com is the best way to ask questions. You can try on Slack. If I'm around and I'm there, I'll definitely answer it. 9 times out of 10, I'll probably leave you a message asking you to send me an email. Sorry if I missed this part. What updates did you make to the new 4.0 course? It's a lot more Kubernetes. I think a lot more conversation around packaging and domains. I've learned a lot since then. We've moved the storage layers inside the cores to strengthen the idea of those domains. We've made the firewalls stronger around those core packages for the domains. So I think there's a lot of good stuff there, some new stuff that if you've done 3 and then you go through 4, you'll see, I think, the changes and you'll understand and appreciate them. Zarf is the best name in the world, isn't it? Zarf. And if nobody's ever heard that word before, look it up. It's the best way to describe the word is if you've ever gone to Starbucks or a coffee shop and they put that brown sleeve over the coffee cup so you don't burn yourself, that's a Zarf. So a Zarf is there to protect you from getting burned when you're handling your containers. Come on, it doesn't get any better than that, right? So that's where I put all my container configuration in the Zarf so I don't burn myself. All right, I was planning to bug Ultimate Go bundle cars. Can you tell me the difference between training in this class? So this is going to be the latest version of the class. So we'll have improvements over the last maybe 4 or 5 months. This will replace the 4.0 in the bundle when we're done. I always like to take the latest, greatest. But I think the biggest advantage of taking the live class is you get to ask those questions at that time directly with me. And you really isolate yourself for those 5 hours to sort of focus and learn. Not everybody is great at self-study. Not everybody's great at really staying focused, when they're watching the other videos. So it's really up to you and your personality. But you get to at least ask me questions real time while I'm there. Would Kubernetes with the K8s you teach in 4.0 take me from 0 to hero for a dev? Yeah, I believe that I'm teaching everything that you need to know about Kubernetes from a developer perspective. We're also just using kube control and customize. I don't bring in any fancy tooling, but we can talk about things like Argo, and we can have those sort of conversations. And I can hint to you, what do you do when you're moving beyond your dev environment? And we can have those conversations. But at least at that point, you have a strong foundation for what the magic tooling is doing and why all of this sort of automation exists. So I would say yes. I mean, the Kubernetes I'm teaching you is essentially all the Kubernetes I know. And I'm developing platforms that run on Kubernetes without knowing how to really install or I don't take over the production environments, right? Where things get a little bit more complex. I don't need that. There's other people, but I can have an intelligent conversation with them. Would we also have access to the class recordings after it ends? In general, we do give access to the raw stream to participants who take the class. And then eventually we take the raw stream, we edit that raw stream, and we turn it into a video class for the bundle. So in general, you get access to the raw stream every day. I usually recommend if people have time to go through that too before the next day, because it helps with kind of solidifying things and help to understand, or if you have questions, again, I'm there live. So I'm telling everybody to sort of stop 3 if they're in the middle of it. If you're close to the end, finish it. You'll have like 30 days to finish it and then go and start 4. There is some duplicate content, right? I think I'm teaching it better in 4.0, but maybe like 70% is the same. And so what I don't want is, no, maybe you finish 3 and you start 4 from the beginning, because a lot of people love to watch my content 2 or 3 times because I really jam pack it with a lot of information. So I think that's up to you. I don't want you to feel rushed having to get to 3.0. But I think it's fair to start at 4.0, solidify everything you've seen, and then go from there. That's my biggest recommendation. But it won't hurt to go through 3, and then as long as you go through 4. Warren Labs have Rust courses as the Go ones in the future. We have one of the top Rust trainers in the world working with us right now. And so he is already recording training. He's doing corporate training. We'll have bundles in the video education site as well with Rust. So that is absolutely not just coming. It's there. The future's here. I ain't teaching that. But we've got a professional Rust developer who's written books and the whole 9 yards doing that. So it's there today. Okay. Whoever came up with this YouTube on my phone idea was brilliant, because this has worked magically. Oh, I hear. Now, let me see something here. My marketing team had some slides here that they wanted me to share. So the next time I'm teaching this live, and we'll be recording it for the education site, will be May 15th through the 19th. You'll also notice now I need 5 hours a day, not just 4, because it's just so jam-packed with so much good stuff. I don't want to leave anything out. I've been asked a bunch of times, Bill, can't you just do a 1-hour class? Can't you do a 2-hour class? I don't even get like my blood pumping until I'm about 4 hours in, right? I always push back on this idea of just a 1 or a 2-hour class, because I don't feel like I can give you enough. This class is going to be complete. By the time you're done, you should be able to go off and build services in Go and have a really good, strong mental model on how to do that. And then, because we're on the same page, people come to me all the time and ask questions. Bill, do you think I can do this? Do you think I should do that within the scope of the project? And I give them my 2 cents and give them my thoughts and my ideas and things that have worked and not worked. And then you do it the way you want to do it. So it also allows me to be better at answering your questions as you're developing the products and services that you're building, because you're using the same sort of starter kit. So I bought the Go Ultimate Bundle. Doesn't make me eligible. No, the live training is a separate it's a separate event, separate fee. But I'm working with the marketing team to find pricing that's going to work for everybody. Plus, we have scholarships as well, right? So you can always send me an email, and I will share with you our scholarship form. And we will do our best to get things at a price that you can afford. We all live in different parts of the world. We all live in different sort of economic structures. So I'm always asking people, we got to pay something. I got to put milk on the table. But at the same time, let's pay what you can afford comfortably, and let's get you the education that you need. So you can always send me an email about the scholarship form, and I'll send that to you, and we'll make it happen. But I'm working really hard with the marketing team to make sure the pricing is reasonable and affordable for everybody. Okay. Are there good opportunities in Go as a career? There are tons of jobs out there right now if you can build services in Go. That's another reason why I love this sort of class. And there are people that have taken this course and then have started interviewing and have gotten jobs. They really have, because I'm going deep into design philosophies and guidelines and deep into the code. And you can walk into an interview and you should be able to have that same conversation I would have, the same answers that I would have right there, right? So it's really about, if you take this class and you watch the videos, it's more than just the code itself. It's, why are we doing this? Why are we not doing that? How is this structured? What are the design flaws? What are the guidelines? What are the idioms? If you learn that foundation, then you can build on that, and you really will be ready to start interviewing. And again, people have gotten jobs. So I think there's still a lot of work out there. There's a lot of money in being a Go engineer. I know we're in a weird economic time. 2023 is a nightmare, but it's going to change. It always changes. And going into the second half of this year and in 2024, I think the economy is going to turn around. It's going to be strong. So this is your time. This is your year to start really buckling down and learning and preparing for what I think is going to be a great second half of this year, definitely going into 2024. I'm very positive. While purchasing the training, it shows a minimum of no. You shouldn't have to buy 2 tickets. That's a weird bug. So I'm going to ask the marketing team to look at that right away because you should be able to just buy 1 ticket. I don't know what that is. Do you have any suggestions on how to get ready for an interview for a Go developer position? You need to write code. I have one suggestion. Take this class. Take this class. I'm going to teach you all of the things that you need to know and think about to be an engineer. And that's going to help you with the interviewing process. And then after that, build something. Build something using those ideas and thoughts. And you're going to be ready. I feel really, really good about that. I've had people come back and tell me that it has helped. I haven't done any course for Go. Right now I'm doing a course. Yep. Todd, not Ted. Todd McLeod. Would I be able to understand Ultimate Service? Yeah, Todd is amazing. He's great. If you've done all the Todd classes, you're more than ready to jump into my stuff. And again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you pay for a class from me and it's not working out for you, you just tell me. I will give you back your money. It's not about the money. It's about you feeling like you're getting what you need. As an SRE at a major website, I wish more of our engineers knew Go and Kubernetes. Things transitioning that way. Right. Yep. And this is a great class. I think, again, if you need to learn Kubernetes from an administrator sort of point of view, we've had other classes. We've got other teachers for that. That's not this class. But if you're going to be building services that need to run and be deployed in a Kubernetes environment, I think this class is perfect. I really, really do. Okay. Todd also sent me, yep, Todd is amazing. All right. And somebody from marketing said, if interested in a single ticket without video, send us an email. And if you want the 2-for-1, yeah, just send emails. We should have it out there though, that you can just buy the ticket. So we'll fix that. Thanks for those questions. Do you use Go REST to make external API integrations? I never heard of Go REST, so I guess the answer is no. I'm not sure what value that adds, so I can't answer that, but I guess the answer is no. Do you have any suggestions on how to get ready for an interview? I think you need to start interviewing and start seeing the sorts of questions. There's this idea that you write down a list of companies and you write down the ones you really want to work at and the ones that are okay, and you start with the ones that are okay and you make your mistakes there. You just start making your mistakes with the companies that you don't particularly care if they say yes or no to, but it gives you the ability to start practicing your interviewing. And then when you feel like you're at a point where you're interviewing well, and that might be because some companies offered you a position, remember, you can always say no. Just because you interviewed and they offer you something doesn't mean you have to say yes. You can say no as much as they can say no. Then you set yourself and you say, okay, now I'm ready to interview at the companies I really, really want to be working on the problems I really, really want to be working on. So don't discredit interviewing at companies that you're not necessarily super excited about early on. Use that as an opportunity to practice your interviewing skills. Get a sense of what people are asking you. And after 3 or 4 interviews, you should be ready for the bigger companies. Or not the bigger companies, the companies that you really want to be working at. Also, I don't understand 3 and 4, but if I want to buy it, which one? The 3.0 is going away in 30 days, so you'll only have access to the 4.0. Anyway, so if you're starting new, I would say start on 4.0. Always watch the latest, greatest stuff, right? It's going to have the most information, the most up-to-date information. It's going to be the most complete. So that's my suggestion there. Okay, what time is it? It's the top of the hour. So what I'm going to do, because it's the top of the hour, is I've been asked to raffle something here. Let me see if I can find it. So I took everybody's names, or they gave me a list of names, I guess, that registered, and I put it in this wheel spinner. So what I'm going to do is hit this play button, see whose name comes out, and then the marketing team will give you a free ticket to the service class. So are you ready? Let's see what happens. Am I supposed to hit stop? Oh, all right. Okay, we got Michael. I'm not even going to try your last name, Michael. But we got Michael here. I'm going to just copy that right now. And you just won a free ticket to the service class. How cool is that? Okay. So, I think we are, I see one more question here. Is there an option to buy the single ticket with recordings? Yeah, there should be an option to buy the single ticket with recordings. I don't know why that's not there. It's actually bumming me out. So what I need everybody to do is, if you have these sorts of questions or anything else, send me an email, bill@ardenlabs.com, and I'm going to get that straightened out. You should be able to buy the class without the video, which would be your cheapest option. You should be able to buy it with the video. It's going to be more expensive because that video then I think comes with the bundle. So I think this is something new we're trying with the Ultimate Service, to be honest with you. But the marketing department handles all this sort of stuff. So wait, Michael's not here and he won? Uh-oh. They didn't tell me what to do in that case. But there we are. Okay, I think we are out of time. Confirm the winner. Oh, they have to be, I'm asking my marketing team right now. Do they have to be present? Because maybe you have to be present to win. I don't set these things up. If he is not, we need to respin. Oh, I'm being told you have to be present to win. Sorry, Michael. I hope everybody enjoyed Bill just being in the raw, not like all set up and ready to go. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Okay, I've been told he needs to be present. Is Rafa A present? Is Rafa A present? Let's see here. While I'm waiting to hear that, on my 30-second lag, is it required to buy 4.0 because I finished time? It's not required for you to buy anything, but I think you'll learn a lot if you watch that class. Okay. We are 63 here, so they should pull in the YouTube live joiners. I don't know. 100% enjoy anyone being authentic. I'm glad, because this is the real Bill most of the time. Clueless and having no clue how to press the right button. Okay, Rafa, I need you to say, I'm here. No. Okay, sit. Get 30 seconds. I got all these names. Hopefully we find somebody soon. I don't think he's here either. Any chance this person is here? Any chance this is not working out very well? Okay, I'm going to keep running until somebody says they're here on the 30-second lag. Okay? First person to say me is getting this thing. Jessica Murray. Look at Jessica coming in. Okay, Jessica, you got 30 seconds. You're ahead of everybody else here. So I'm going to hit it again. See what happens. Oh, yeah, I can see the delay on my YouTube here. All right, I'm just going to keep hitting buttons here. But I got to wait another 30 seconds to hit the next button. It's okay. Actually, I'm watching the YouTube video. So when the next name gets selected on the video, I will click it. Maybe I should just oh, Lewis is here? Okay, then that's it. We're in. We're done. Lewis did it. Okay, Lewis. You are the winner. The winner. Lewis is the winner. Let me see. Where am I going here? I need my... Oh, there we go. Okay, Lewis. You did it, man. You're in. Even though your name here isn't there anymore. Lewis is the winner. Does everybody in marketing see that Lewis is the winner? Yay, Lewis. Richard, you would have been next, but there we are. Okay, I think I am going to sign off. I need everybody to send me an email if you have any more questions, concerns. You want that scholarship form. Send me an email. If you're not sure how to buy the ticket you want for the class, send me an email. And I don't really plan on learning Rust well enough to be able to teach it, but we've got world-class people that can. So we'll get you connected to Herbert. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Hope you enjoyed the craziness that is Bill Kennedy and YouTube. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Bye.